Everybody, welcome to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Chris,
I'm Russ.
and this is episode 264.
264, back in the virtual nerd basement. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to another scintillating episode of Nerds with Alcohol.
Hey, welcome Sneak Coot and CD.
Oh, great. We got two waiting for us there, apparently. That's
Well,
cool.
that's because we were a little late.
Yeah, we were running a little late. What are those?
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
Yeah.
She brought me sandwiches too.
Look,
Oh,
you can't
thank
eat sandwiches on the show.
I can't eat sandwiches on the show. But thanks, babe.
Waiting for the Sammies.
It's just I had a little Brenner. I had an early Brenner. What's this? Oh, thank you.
Hi, Stella.
Oh. Chris says hello. So hell of a week.
Renee said hi, Stella.
Renee says hello. She says hello. So hell of a week. I had a rough week personally.
Oh,
an expensive week.
Yeah, well, Renee had to wait for a commercial too, I guess. So
had to wait for a commercial. I had a rough week. Just to jump right in, I on Thursday, my housemate woke me up to a flooded basement.
Yeah, that sucks, dude.
Yeah, it was awesome. Our sump pump went out. Thankfully, it was only about 1.5 inches to maybe 2 inches at its deepest, but it didn't actually, the water didn't spread to all corners of the basement. It got about 80% of the basement, I'd say. But it was still enough that it did some pretty serious damage to the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
We lost a few things. I lost my portfolio cases got soaked. So some of my old artwork from several years ago, we're talking 20 years ago here, kind of got warped because it was all on illustration board and shit. So like this old piece that I
remember that one.
Yeah. I mean, we were able to save it and we dried it, but it warped all to hell. So
yeah. Well, and luckily, what you were dealing with wasn't sewer water; it was just rainwater.
Yeah, it was just rain and
melt water. Yeah.
So, but it did wreck the carpet. We were going to try and save the carpet down in the basement, and if it had been summertime, we might have been able to dry it and in a reasonable amount of time. But that morning I went directly to Home Depot and spent $260 on space heaters and fans and a shop vac, and then we ran just after 2 days of running the fan and the space heaters. It just really wasn't making an appreciable difference. So even after we got all the standing water up, so we just went, you know what? We'll rip up the carpeting and we'll just replace it. We're going to use those carpet squares, those 2-foot carpet squares.
Mm-hmm.
And actually we're taking the opportunity to paint the room down there and make it a little nicer for John. And he our housemate John, he lives down there. And I also had to drop almost $500 on a new sump, so that was awesome.
Hi, Auntie Dawn.
Hey, Auntie Dawn, nice to see you. Thanks for swinging in. So anyway, yeah, it was an expensive fucking week, man.
Yeah.
But I did find out today that I'm getting a bit of a bump on my pay at the bread company. So that's nice. So that's going to help counterbalance that.
Cool.
And but yeah, it was John had an inflatable. He was on a futon. Thanks, CD. But yeah. But it was rough, but it's all right. You know what? It was just try to keep a positive, try to get a positive outlook on it. It was a drag though. I mean, we had to get the carpet up. So my friend Thaddeus came by on Sunday and helped rip up all that carpeting and the padding. And okay, let me ask you this: Have you ever had to rip up carpeting before?
Yeah.
Okay. Did they glue the pad to the floor?
No.
Well, they did for me.
No, but I've never had to rip it up in a basement.
Well, the padding was glued down, and that sucked on ice.
Yeah.
So
I've had to deal with staples.
There were some staples
And the nail strips, yes, the nail strips.
The nail strips, of course, but it was stapled in a couple places on the step up closet that we have in there that we ripped.
The vault?
No, not the vault. The vault.
Oh.
The vault is staying the way it is. We left the carpeting in the vault because actually a lot of John's stuff got moved into the vault. It's the comic book vault for those of you guys. But I am also going to get. I'm going to grab some pallets from work, and everything that was on the floor is going to go up on pallets now. So because fuck that noise. Yeah. So. But that was my weekend. Other than that, I went to the Dirty Show on Saturday.
Cool. How was that?
And that was pretty freaking epic. I haven't been to the Dirty Show in a while. For those of you guys
I have never been to the Dirty Show.
Oh man, it's a good time. It really is. For those of you guys who have never been or don't know what the Dirty Show is, it is the largest erotic art show in the U.S. It started here in Detroit, and it's mainly in Detroit, but they did for a while. They took it around to other parts of the country and stuff. They did small like satellite shows, but it is it's so cool, man. It's a lot of fun. There's like all the art is erotically themed, so there's a lot of nudes and a lot of things that are a little like, they're meant to titillate, they're meant to shock, they're meant to it's get you thinking about things and stuff and thinking about naughty things. But then there's also there's burlesque performances and pole and silks and lyra and a lot of stuff like that. And then there's demos where like my friend Castrata was doing like whipping demos, whipping people. And then there was another couple people I know that were doing shibari demonstrations with it, which is a Japanese rope bondage, which it's very artistic, kind of interesting. And then I know a couple of the organizers. I know Aaron Reed is one of the guys that sets the thing up, and he and Jerry Vile, and they I'm talking to them about doing a body paint expo next year.
That'd be cool.
So yeah. So I'll be like body painting at the event, and like I'll probably have a couple models body painted beforehand. And the problem is just working out the logistics of the cost, because it'll be, it'll have some cost. And then they also have cage dancers in various places, and so maybe I'll paint some of the cage dancers. And the cool thing is like all the cage dancers, all those kind of dancers, they're all shapes and sizes, all different types of people, different body types, and so there's something for everybody there, and then everybody that shows up, a lot of people dress to impress. So there's a lot of dare to wear outfits and very slinky things and stuff like that. And if you go to the Metro Times website, the Metro Times did a slideshow of like, who are the people we saw at the Dirty Show? And there's a whole bunch of people I knew. In fact, one in particular was Shannon Klaus, also known as Foxy Menagerie on Instagram, who is one of the, I think I've shown you pictures, Chris, of she's got immense, like huge.
Oh yeah.
Boobs. Like
I've seen her at fair.
Seen her at fair, right? Yeah, she shows up at Ren Fair, and she's got some of the largest breasts in the world and stuff. I mean, she's amazing, but she was there, and it was actually one of the first people I ran into when I was there was Foxy Menagerie. And what else was really great about it was just the fact that we were able to get out into a public event, and I was able to see my friends, see people I haven't seen in a long time. It was nice, man. It was just nice to be in a public venue, in a public event, because it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. I think the last time Stella and I went to like an event was Ren Fair, in a bigger, where there's a big crowd. And people were masked. I mean, that was the other thing too. You had to show proof of vaccination. Mm-hmm. Whip out the card before going in. They wouldn't let you in. You had to be vaccinated. You had to have your proof of vax or a clean test that was less than 2 days old. So, okay, great. And people were still wearing masks. A lot of people were still wearing masks. They didn't have, shirts on, but they had masks on. There was one table you could just buy pasties. I mean, they're not really vendors at the Dirty Show. It's an art show, an exhibition. Yeah. So you're there to buy the art off the walls, But there were a few things where like there was a group of dudes actually selling just all different kinds of pasties. So you could come up and just go buy a couple of pasties for. I was like, that's genius. Yeah. So guys, if you're ever in Detroit in February, it's usually it opens usually the weekend of Valentine's Day. And if you are a Detroit native, or if you're in Detroit, it's honest to God, it's worth the trip. It's usually a really great art show with some really fun, titillating kind of entertainment, and it's a good night out. It's at the Russell Industrial Complex here in Detroit, right off I-75 and Grand River.
Yep.
So
yeah, I'll have to look into going to that next year because, like I said, I've never been. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Renee has obviously been there. She was talking about it. So
particularly if I'm performing, then you have to show up.
Do I?
Doing body paint demos. So I will say one thing: it isn't a cheap evening. The tickets were $45 a piece, and
hell, I was looking at it. I'm like, if I'm gonna go, I might go VIP, get front row seats, and
there you go. Do it. So right front row seats for the boylesque.
Sure.
Because they had male strippers too, But yeah, I mean, those were kind of cool too. Those were really great. It's very creative stuff. That's the nice thing about burlesque is that
Renee just said fuck yes.
Yes, yeah. I saw it. It was a good time. But yeah, it was $45 for a normal ticket, and then another $20 to park. If you wanted to park in the kind of lot, the protected lot, and then drinks. There is a bar, but drinks were $12 to $15 a piece. This is not a cheap evening.
No, so that's pretty much like going to any Tigers game or any sporting event. Is you're going to be paying that much? So
yeah, I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, there's not far off. Or a concert.
Yeah, or a concert. Yeah,
like a decent concert. I didn't think about that either. Yeah, I guess it's comparable.
Yeah,
and you are getting a lot.
But there are boobs at this event. Yes. Well, again, I'll tell you what. Back in the '80s, there were boobs at a lot of like the concerts.
Those concert events. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, crazy. But
CD said he's in.
Yeah, dude, it's worth it. It'd be worth the trip to Detroit. You come with us. We'll show you around, CD. It was, but yeah, it was a fun time. So, and I ran into a ton of friends from Festival, friends from Theater Bazaar, friends from.
Wait a minute. You're kidding me. There's crossover between this and Theater Bazaar.
And Renaissance
Fair.
Heavens to Betsy.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know. This is my shock face right here. But the wild thing is so I turn around at one point. I'm like talking to a friend of mine, and I just kind of turn around and I see this woman, and we lock eyes, and I think she was wearing a mask, and we both immediately recognize each other. And I said, "Come here," and I give her a hug, and she's my friend Vicky, whom I've known since kindergarten. And Vicky and I, it's funny, when I first moved back to Michigan after living in Arizona for a while, I reconnected with some old friends, and oddly enough, Vicky was one of them. And it's not like we were super tight when we were kids, but we went to school together like pretty much from kindergarten to 6th grade. And so when we were like 19, we were like, oh, hey, it's nice to, be friends again and whatever. And so over the last 30 years, we just periodically run into each other at somewhere. I ran into her at Ren Fair, I ran into her at a comic convention, and her husband is a musician and a kind of a nerd too. So, we just had, things in common. And so I would run into her at these events. And so, yeah, it was just kind of, I haven't seen her in a while. One day I just ran into her at a Target. And I was just like, I was walking along and I'm walking along and I'm just do. And I looked down on a hall, one of the aisles, and I kind of stopped and I went, wait a minute. And then I backed up again, and there's Vicky, and so, but anyways, it was nice to see her, and we chatted for a few minutes, and so I was like, and of course there was the embarrassing, because we're even friends on Facebook, but we don't come up on each other's algorithm all that often, I guess. But I says, how's Joe? Oh, we got a divorce. I'm like, oh, okay. She goes, no, it's good. It's like, all right, okay, cool. But it was just kind of cool. It's just running into her. Stella was like, she's so beautiful. Okay, yes, she is. But yeah, it was a fun. It was a fun night. I mean, it was nice because I really needed it after just all the bullshit from the basement flooding and stuff. Oh, it was the other thing too. We went to the after party at Noir Leather, and yeah, saw some stuff. No, I'm just kidding. It was fun. It was fun. We had a good time. But it was we left before things got freaky. Crazy. At Noir Leather, yeah. Because for those of you guys, another CD, Noir Leather is the.
I'm scared. I'm scarred for life.
Scarred for life. Yeah, some of the same people. Yeah, for sure. Noir Leather is a leather and alternative clothing store in Royal Oak here that also sells like sex toys and stuff, and it's a very sex positive place. I know the owners and the manager and stuff.
I used to go there back in the mid to late 80s looking for spandex. Sure. That was it was one of the only places you could get spandex when you were a rocker.
Sure, it's a rock and roll, very much a rock and roll place. A lot of goth wear, a lot of stuff like that, and it's right down the street from my work. That's right. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I love her, and I know the like I said, I know the new owner and they had an after party, and after about 4 fingers of Jameson, I had a nice little buzz going on, and then Stella and I walked over to the yeah, I'm totally immune to it after it. It's true. After working strip clubs for 12 years, I'm immune. But yeah, Stella and I walked over to Leo's to Coney Island, and it was so fucking cold, man. Holy shit.
Renee just called you a lightweight.
Ridiculous. Oh, I am. I mean, come on. Come on. I've said that many times. And but Stella was pretty drunk, and we got some food, and we were out until 5 a.m. And I haven't been up that late. I haven't been out that late in a long time. I'll be up that late often, but I haven't been out that late in a long time. So, but like I said, it was just great. It was great. We needed it. It. So I've rambled on enough about it. Guys, check out the Dirty Show when you get the second. Chris, how was your week?
Well, it started off pretty much, typical way things have been going. Still haven't had a lot of time to play Skyrim. I actually haven't touched Skyrim in almost 2 weeks now. I need to get back to it, so hopefully tomorrow.
Almost 2 weeks, really?
Yeah. I think I want to get back to it tomorroh. I kind of went back to Cyberpunk a little bit.
Oh, cool.
To check out the new patch, and I'll tell you what, it's a tougher game now.
That's what I'm hearing.
I'm getting my ass handed to me in fights, and
that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, there was definitely times when I was playing it before that I was like, I didn't feel overly challenged, particularly at first. I mean, there was some challenges later on, and some of the boss fights and things like that, but I didn't feel challenged.
Yeah, now it's like, oh, there's 6 guys. Before it was like, oh, there's only 6 guys. I can take them out. Now it's like, oh, there's 6 guys. Fuck, I'm fucked.
Okay. Cool. Good. Because that it definitely needed a rebalancing. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that too.
But yeah, so I want to get back to Elder Scrolls. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully tomorrow. I may even stream some tomorrow morning.
I'm just pickled dink that you're loving it, man.
I am. I really want to get back to it. I'm having fun. I actually have enough to buy my second house now.
Nice. Where?
Up in the north. I forget the name of the place, but I can buy my house up there. Where the one haunted
Solitude?
What's that?
Solitude or Markarth?
Not Markarth, not Solitude. It's right in between them. It's
the White Star.
Or White or Winter or whatever that place. Where there's the burned down house. You can actually buy a house there. Yeah. I actually have the ability to buy a house there now because the Jarl.
I think you build a house there.
Well, it's still Winterhold. Yeah, I think that's
Winterhold. I think you build a house there. I think that's
not. No, it's not Winterhold. Winterhold's over in the
Winterhold is
that's in the
where
east.
Where the
this is up by Solitude, but it's not Solitude. It's the other town.
Yeah,
there's a Jarl up. Basically, there's a Jarl up there. I did some work for him, and he said it's not Dawnstar either. Dawnstar is the other one. I haven't been to Dawnstar yet.
That's what I was thinking of. I was just in Riften last night for the first time, and there's a ton of shit to do in Riften.
So. I haven't been to Riften yet. So, but yeah, so I'm still enjoying it. This will be the last week that I can do it during the day though, because I got a new job this week.
You got a new job. That's great.
So, I actually start on Monday, so I'll be back to doing the 9 to 5 thing. So
awesome.
I'll find some time to continue doing my Elder Scrolls adventures. But yeah, I think it might be Dawnstar. I'm really happy. I'm really excited about this new job. Even if it's the second worst job in my life, it will be better than what I had. So it's I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited.
That's saying something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the interview went really well. It was just last week. It was a one and done interview. I didn't expect that. I expected a second interview, but yeah, the recruiter that I was working with said, yeah, let me just read you the title of the email. We love Chris. So I guess I really did a good job. So
it helps. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. I get to learn a bunch of new stuff, as well as do some stuff that I've been doing, and I will be the guy for them. So they basically said I get to put my name on the network, which is exciting to me. So I'm looking forward to it. So that'll be next week. So I got this week to play around, and I've been printing a bunch of stuff. Been working on the printer, doing some tweaks to fix a couple of things.
We did have a great game on Friday.
And then last Friday we had our game, which I thought was fantastic. Had a blast. You guys made it through another 2 fights.
We did.
Oh hey!
I got beat down a little bit.
Thanks, Dutch.
Hey, cool.
Dutch just subbed. So
subbed to Sneak Coop. So thanks, man. That's great. Yeah, I got my butt handed to me a little bit. I mean, I didn't go down, but I took some shots, man. that flame tongue sword was a bear.
He was a badass. He was a paladin fighter, is what he was.
Yeah, paladin fighter, dual class.
Yeah, multi-class. He was a 6th level paladin, 3rd level fighter.
Ooh, okay, yeah. That was he was a motherfucker because he kept hitting me with what I hit people with. So
yeah, he kept putting Divine Smite into every hit. He's like, fuck this, I'm knocking this motherfucker out. And
yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, though, the damage that Divine Smite does to me, because it's radiant damage, the extra damage.
Well, his was necrotic, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
but either way, you're resistant to both. Yeah. And then Eucharia found the pit.
Yeah. Nothing like falling into a 40-foot spiked pit, Thank God he had Featherfall, because he would have been spooked. So yeah.
Yeah, him using Featherfall was great.
What's the next thing you could try? Yeah, that'd be great, CD. Thanks.
But yeah, and then there was a succubus in the room.
Oh yeah, the succubus there. Yeah. She was, but we took her out too.
Yes,
we so she went back to the infernal planes, and
back to the abyss.
I'm sure we'll back to the abyss. I'm sure we're going to see her again someday, and she's going to be mad as fuck. So. No, it was a great game, though. It was a great game, man.
It was a lot of fun. You guys did continue moving along. You found a little bit of info.
Yeah.
You found some notes and things like that. So, and I've been seeing some of the conversations going on Discord about what people want to do going forward, like sending messages and stuff like that back. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, as a reminder, guys, if you haven't subbed yet, we do have a Discord channel that's exclusive for subscribers. If you want to get in on that, it's just a way to communicate directly with anybody that's regular on the show, in Tavern Nights and Chris and myself. And it's we talk, we hang out, we say stupid shit, and so that's what our Discord channel is.
It's where CD posts random thoughts.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah. Yes, particularly about the Marvel and Star Wars movies. Oh man. Of nerd at least they're of nerd relevance. So
yeah. Which actually, I'm thinking I'm going to take that picture of that Rich made and either post. I was debating whether I was going to post it just in Discord for the subs to see, or if I was going to post it on, or I was going to post it actually on the Nerds channel for everyone.
I put it up on the Nerd channel. I mean, put it in the Discord first, but then Rich, one of the players, made a chibi kind of thing for.
They're really cute.
They're super cute.
The Yukariyo one is hilarious with the little juice bottle, or the little juice cup.
Yeah. Marikaris's little wings, and it's super cute. So eventually I'm going to get around to drawing all the characters I've drawn. I'm working on Marikaris and just kind of coloring him on my tablet. Well, you see me while we're playing, while I'm working on it. I'm going to get around to everybody in the team. So yeah. Well, great. Congratulations again on the job. And I'm happy for you. And I hope it works out good. And it's nice that you're going to be mostly working from home. So that's really
that's the other thing is it is a remote position. It is local for the most part. I mean, there are locations in other states, but it is mostly locals, but I am still remote. So that'll be good.
Cool. That's awesome. So what are you drinking, dude?
With getting so there was a couple things today. So Chelsea, my favorite English Premier League team, was playing in the Champions League tonight, and the game was on CBS. So I actually went out to the bar to watch the game and celebrate me getting my new job and signing the offer letter. And while I was there, I went to Royal Oak Brewery, which is one of my favorite places to go. And while I was there, I'm like, you know what? Give me a 4-pack of this beer that I was drinking. It is the Munich Dunkel. So it is it's a brown beer. You can't really see it there, but there is light going through it. It has a nice brown color. It has a very kind of malty aroma. Almost sweet aroma. And then I'm gonna take a sip here. It has a very malt. It's a very malt forward flavor. There's not a lot in the way of hops. There's a little bit of hops to balance it, but you don't really get them. They're the old world hops, not like the American hops that come through with a lot of citrusy flavor. But yeah, it's Royal Oak Brewery here in Royal Oak. They do not distribute, so you can't find this anywhere except here in the Metro Detroit area at Royal Oak Brewing. Their head brewer Jeremy has been on our show. We actually had our 100th episode at that brewery, and they're fantastic. This particular beer, absolutely fantastic. If you like reds, if you like browns, if you like alt beers, anything like Oktoberfest, anything in that type of genre, this Munich Dunkel would be right up your alley. It is absolutely fantastic. I give this at least 4.5 bottle caps. It is so good. It's probably my one of my. I like the 90 shilling, their Scotch ale a lot. This is right up there though. It's in my top 5. My number one beer that Jeremy does is the ESB, the extra special bitter. That's my absolute favorite beer. But this is up in the top 5 of the beers that he does.
Awesome, awesome.
So what about you? What are you drinking?
Tonight, Stella picked me up a lovely bottle of B Nectar's Black Fang. Now, I have, of course, reviewed this many times on the show. This might be one of the things I've drank most on the show over the last couple of years, but it is one of my favorite meads. Black Fang from B Nectar, blackberry, clove, and orange zest. Fantastic. It tasted like City Club feels, and I just absolutely just love it. So if you guys can check this out, this is obviously a little old because this is the autumn flavor that B Nectar. B Nectar tends to put this out in the autumn, but it is it sits well. It ages well. I don't know, whatever, but it's great stuff. I love it.
Yeah. So
Black Fang.
What's funny is last night Renee and I went out to a little dive bar over in Warren, and for we wanted to try someplace new for trivia and a different type of trivia. And so we went to this little dive bar, and the waitress / bartender that was taking care of us, really nice lady. She took great care of us. But she was talking with us, and we were talking about different things. She's talking about how they just got a bunch of craft beers on because she was just able to get the distributing company to actually bring them beers, because originally they were saying they were too small and they wouldn't supply to them and all that. But she's like, but have you heard of B Nectar? And Renee's sitting right there, and we're like, yeah. And Renee's like, yeah, I was the head meat maker there, until November. And she's like, oh, I love their stuff. It's so good.
Renee just asked what the batch number was. I can't. I don't know. I don't know where it is. Well, there's a stamp number, but it didn't stamp very well. 821. Something, I don't know. Sorry,
bottom left
Renee, bottom left corner.
So CD oatmeal adds a lot of mouthfeel. It adds a lot of heaviness to the actual beer. Oh, I forgot to turn my phone off.
It says. I mean, yeah, it's real hard to read though, Renee. It says 8/21 was the date. So if it's a stamp, I made it. You made it then you made it.
Yeah, it's a grain. It's another one of the grain CD. So yeah, it does add alcohol, but it also adds a lot of smoothness. It adds mouthfeel, things like that. There's a lot of things that it adds.
Hey, thanks again, Dutch. Your comments are really great.
Yes.
We appreciate it. And it is we have been trying to create a great discussion place for nerdy shit. So.
Yeah, we really are, and that's what I really want our Discord channel to be.
Right.
Eventually.
That too.
If we can get some more subscribers and things.
Right. So finish up. What were you saying? You're finished about your drink?
Oh no, it's just fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. I love it. I loves it.
Bees is awesome. All right, so let's get into it. All right, a couple of quick things before we get into the series, some of the bigger things. So back in 2003, or I think it was 2003, there was a comic book miniseries called it was a team up between Marvel and DC. It was the JLA versus Avengers miniseries. It ran, I think it was 4 issues. It was a deluxe, like a deluxe format. Serious stuff, man. It was written by Kurt Busiek and drawn by the amazing, always amazing George Perez. It was then collected into a collected edition. It's on my shelf over here.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. It was collected into a collected edition, a slipcover, big deal, holy shit, amazing kind of thing, with a special second book that was detailing like the history of this whole thing, because they wanted to do this back in like the late 70s, early 80s, but they could never get it off the ground. There were problems between DC and Marvel, and they didn't want to team up and do it. But after the DC versus Marvel mini that they did right before this in the late 90s, and how successful that was, they made this, and it is epic level. Mine is autographed by George Perez at least 4 different places. When I met him and I brought this to him, he signed it on the front, he signed it on the back, he signed it in both of the books and several pages. It was like crazy. Nicest guy. George Perez recently, early in this year, we talked about it. He was given a terminal diagnosis of cancer. He is his doctors gave him about 6 months, six months to a year. And so he had stopped all treatment and was saying, you know what, I'm just gonna live the rest of the time I have, and just doing cool things for the comic fans. So the Hero Initiative, which was started by George Perez, which is a massive, is a charity organization to benefit, I believe, specifically comic creators that need help in their golden years. They're going to be reprinting this book, 7,000 copies. They're only making 7,000 copies, and they're reprinting. I think they're just going to reprint the graphic novel this part of it, not the whole thing. So it's going to be this part. It's going to be reprinted, and then I believe the profits were going to go towards a Hero Initiative. So $7,000 or 7,000 copies. Marvel and DC teaming up again with the Hero Initiative to put this out. Pretty fantastic. If you are a fan, now it is a bit dated because it is from the early aughts. It's from 03, 04. So the character, it's a little dated, but it's still pretty damn good. When I heard about that they're reprinting this, I pulled this out and reread it, and it is just absolutely fantastic. It's a great story. So y'all might want to check this out. For those of you who are huge comic fans, even if you're not a huge comic fan, it's a pretty cool thing. It is a Hero Initiative, is a charity dedicated to helping comic book creators in medical or financial need. More information can be found at www.heroinitiative.org. One word. So you might want to check that out.
Cool.
Today, moving on to another quick hit. Today, go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking of today is the Ultimate Taco Tuesday.
Today, yeah, it is absolutely 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2. Stop me when I get too many. Actually, my boss said today that now it's in 100 years we'll have another 2 2 2 2 2. But he said that the next time it falls that a Tuesday is the 22nd of February in the 22nd year of the century. He said it won't happen again for until the heat death of the universe. He literally said that. He said it's like quintillion, a couple quintillion years. Now Stella looked it up and she said, I think he's wrong. It says 400 years. And I went, makes a little more sense.
Well, but by then the Earth's going to be burned up anyway. So.
Well, yeah. Or we'll have left it behind. It's like hopefully in 400 years we're traveling.
We'll be in Muskville on Mars.
In what-ville?
Muskville.
Muskville?
Yeah, Elon Musk's.
Oh, Muskville.
Yeah, Muskville.
Yeah. So anyway, I think 400 years.
Yeah, like Renee said, we're still dead.
We're still dead. Yeah. We're still dead.
Yeah.
Unless they figure out a way to transfer my mind into a digital space.
Yeah.
Then we're
unless I can become a robot.
I'll be a robot. I want to see future cars. Sorry. I'm sorry. That was a Key and Peele reference.
We were promised jetpacks.
We were promised flying cars and jetpacks. I did read somewhere that that some sort of flying car was recently approved in England, and they're going to start, or in Europe, and they're going to start rolling those out. They're basically a small plane that can also be a car, but it's still fucking like people can't fucking drive right. And you wanna give them a pilot's license?
Well, that's why we got to get the automated cars first and get that down, so that when they go to flying, then it's automated flying cars.
All automated. That's what we need. Just automated. Just type in the fucking destination and go. That would be great.
So the other thing about today is that it's both a palindrome and an ambigram.
Yes, correct.
If you write it out the way that the Europeans write it out. You don't do it the American way, but if you do it the European way, it's both.
Yeah.
It's a palindrome and an ambigram, which I had to look up what that was, because I couldn't remember what the ambigram, what the name of being able to read it both normal and upside down the same would.
Apparently, it is also Margarita Day.
Well, yes, it is. It's National Margarita Day today. Yesterday was National Tortilla Chip Day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. This is ridiculous. This is a terrible conversation. So today we also had the reveal of the new PSVR 2 headset. The headset has officially been unveiled by Sony, as well as the gripper, the hand wand thingies. That is the technical term for the device, the wand thingy. The PSVR headset has been revealed by Sony in a new blog post today. Hideki Nishino, Senior Vice President of Platform Experience, said that he was especially pleased to reveal the stunning new design of the PSVR 2 headset alongside an update and final design image of the PlayStation VR 2 Sense controller, which is the actual name for the hand thingy. Nishino points out the headset shares a circular design with the finalized controller, representing the 360-degree view the players feel when they enter the virtual reality world. The entire collection has also been inspired by the look of the PS5 family of products, and Nishino states that the design team had the next generation VR headset in mind when creating the PS5 itself. So, I'm excited, man. I can't wait. I'm gonna get a PSVR 2. I'm fucking gonna get a PSVR 2 because I need to play Beat Saber and I need to play Skyrim VR. Fuck yes. And Fallout 4 VR. I want to do it. I gotta do it. I have to do it. So
I would love to play Beat Saber. I just don't have the room for it right now. I would have to play on my knees because my ceilings aren't tall enough.
Yeah, you probably would. Well, at least down in the basement for sure.
Well, yeah, but that's the only place I've got the room. That's the only place I've got the room to play, and the ceiling's just not high enough. So it's gonna have to wait till the next house.
Yeah, something like that. But I got plenty of room in the main living room, and I just have to move the table out of the way.
I was gonna say, you got a table in the way in there, man. I wouldn't want to
move that table.
Like,
that's
you think you have room. You think you have room until you start moving around, and all of a sudden you're knocking shit off your shelves, and there go all your collectibles because you're taking them out.
Thankfully, when you're playing Beat Saber, it doesn't actually create sabers. It's just in digital, man. I'd be more worried about.
Then Dresden would be in danger.
Right. I'd be more worried about playing, swinging a sword or battle axe in Skyrim.
Actually, that's what I want to see. I want to see you a video of you playing VR.
Shit would be comical, man.
Well, you play a video of you playing VR and Dresden watching you, and trying to figure out what the hell you're doing.
I'm sure that will happen. We're gonna,
and then
Stella will come up to me and she'll just be like,
and then Dresden like at one point just jumping up on me. Like,
right, yeah.
When you like you can't see him. You have no idea.
Like a skeever. A skeever will come up, in the game and jump, and then Dresden will jump up at the same time, and I'll freak out. I'm like, God, this game is really realistic. Hey man, I've seen the shit on Skyrim VR, the graphic. I mean, it is a direct port of the game, and it's incredible. So it will probably be the only reason that I would again buy Skyrim again for like a third time or whatever it is. I think I've bought Skyrim twice, and then I bought the upgraded, the anniversary edition. Now I did pay for some of the DLC initially, but no, I've only actually officially bought it twice, so this would be the third time. But it's really cool. I will say I have heard though too that there's none of these like 6-hour game sessions of playing playing Skyrim VR. If you play longer than 2 hours, you're doing good, because this shit is
exhausting,
athletic. Yeah, you're swinging a sword, even if it's and I'm hearing people are doing things like wearing wrist weights or weighting the controllers so that they get more resistance, so they can get particularly when playing Beat Saber, wear some wrist weights, and you can really get a workout.
Renee was showing me that someone that actually had like a whole like rig where it was a multi, like it would spin, like they had the thing on, they were strapped into this thing so they couldn't fall, but the entire base was a multi-directional like treadmill.
I've seen those.
And they were playing Skyrim, and they were running on the treadmill as to run in the game. I'm like, I'm done after 20 minutes in that. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's like a
I'm like, nope, I'm getting on my horse. Let's go.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm riding the horse, man. Fuck that. But you still gotta, it's good for like when you're in the dungeons and shit where you don't have the horses, and because it's a it's like a pad of like balls, basically, like big kind of smooth balls that you can walk on and stuff. Yeah, I've seen those. Looks fucking badass, man. If I had the room and all the monies, and all the rooms and all the monies,
dude, if I had the room and all the monies, I'd just have a scorpion chair and just my lazy ass would just be laid back playing Skyrim. I'm not running around. I'm laying back playing it on 3 fucking 48-inch monitors.
Absolutely, because we're old gamers. We're not young gamers. We are OG.
Yeah.
And OG doesn't expend energy. It was a VR treadmill. That'd be fucking cool. It would help me get into some better shape, I think.
Well, and that's the thing. So if you look at like
how do you get a nerd in shape?
Well, and that's the thing. So how you get a nerd in shape is you have things set up.
Shape?
Well, actually, just like in what's his name? Klein's novel, the main character had to exercise a certain amount before his VR would turn on. Yeah,
the Parzival, he had to do an exercise routine within the VR system that he had.
Yep.
And then it would measure that he did enough, and then it would connect into the Oasis.
Yep.
Yeah. That makes sense, man. Dude, yeah. And because apparently
otherwise you wind up like the people in WALL-E.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, apparently Parzival, like, he was getting heavy. He was getting out of shape and heavy and stuff. So, because that makes sense. If you're just in like a virtual, kind of environment, and you don't really have to move around a lot. It's all kind of movements from your hands and shit.
People with motion sickness would have a real problem with that.
That is the only thing that I'm fucking worried about. Like, I feel like I want to test it out first before I spend $400 on a VR system.
I will tell you from experience from doing VR in different things like old VR versus even new VR. it is a balanced challenge.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing things move and you're expecting to have your body moving. And so
right.
if you try and step, it does fuck with your balance.
Like, it's weird. It depends on what you're playing, though, too. Like, I was playing Beat Saber. I had absolutely no problem because you're just standing there. You're moving side to side a little bit. You got things coming at you, and you're just like, and you're moving around, and you're bang, bang, and whatever else. But from what I understand, though, if you're playing a game where you are like
walking,
Fallout or Skyrim, where you're walking or you're piloting a vehicle or something like that, you can get motion sickness. And from what my friend Shadow had said, that if you are seated, it's a lot better. But if you're standing and you're up and you're moving like that, it will definitely can give you. Now, I've also heard it's something you can overcome and get used to. You can actually take Dramamine, or you can take, anti-nausea kind of medication, and that will help you. But then also, it's just something you got to train your brain to do.
Yeah, I didn't get. So my buddy had the Vader game. It was called Vader Unleashed or something like that. Yeah. There were two of them. Fucking badass game. But he
I've meant to see Surrogates. I haven't watched it yet.
What's that? Surrogates.
CD said something about Surrogates.
Yeah. So I was playing the Vader VR game, and it's really fucking cool. But yeah, dude, you put that headset on, and I'm like, I'm no longer in his living room. I am on a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking around, and you're just pushing the button on the controller, and you're walking around, and you're feeling that movement, but you're not moving. So when I start walking around, and every once in a while he would like grab me and like pull me back to a certain spot that was like a safe spot in the room, because I was moving away from where I was, because I would have to step every once in a while and like just to regain my balance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the danger, is like, you got to have like, you've got to have like a kind of almost like a fencing, so that if you do bump into it, okay, I better back up a little bit,
But it is what is amazing is how immersive that actually is for you.
It really is.
It's like you really do kind of forget where you are.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Really, and like I said, if if they're gonna make Skyrim, and they made Skyrim for the PSVR, they're gonna make the next Elder Scrolls game in a VR setting. Although it may not go to the PSVR because it's Bethesda, and Bethesda's owned by Microsoft. We'll see. But man, still, even so, man, I love Skyrim, and playing it in a VR mode. God damn, I'd be in shape, because I'd be playing it for days. Like, I get lost in it.
Yeah,
great. So I am still, again, really tickled that you're loving that. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I'm loving it. Moving on. We got some other things we got to move on. Brie Larson has been saying that she's praising the director of the new Captain Marvel, the Marvels sequel, the sequel to her first movie, saying that it's fantastic. It's going to be bonkers, is to use her words exactly. She's saying it's going to be fantastic. Alongside Larson will reprise her role as Carol Danvers. The movie will also see Teyonah Parris return as Monica Rambeau, and Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel, who we will see in the Ms. Marvel TV show later on this year, I believe. On Disney Plus. So pretty freaking cool. We last saw Larson as Captain Marvel in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. She had a cameo in the mid-credits scene alongside Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner. Meanwhile, this will be DaCosta's directorial follow-up to her 21 horror sequel, Candyman. So that's pretty cool. Another thing moving on, Patrick Stewart responds to rumors of Professor X return to Doctor Strange. Now, we did talk about this last week, about Patrick Stewart's voice, hearing his voice in the Doctor Strange trailer. Now, he's been real cagey about it, saying that he's like, people have been imitating my voice ever since I came on the stage 60 years ago. So it sounds a little more like Ian McKellen. But So I can't be held responsible for that. The actor told comicbook.com, remaining coy. Now, that sounds like what Andrew Garfield was saying about being in Spider-Man.
IMDb has him listed in the credits for it.
Yep.
They don't have his name, what character he's playing, but they have him listed.
Yeah, and IMDb is pretty accurate about a lot of this stuff. So I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say that Professor X that he will be playing Professor X. But I will say again as well that I think it is time that he step aside and that we cast somebody else.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see that these are going to be characters from the multiverse.
Right.
So he's going to be from a different universe. This isn't going to be, he's not Professor X from the MCU's world.
Right. I think you're correct. I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see him kind of introducing the concept of the mutant, and then we're going to see him move on, and we'll see other people play it. Hopefully. I think it is definitely time for somebody else to step into the wheelchair.
Well, and like I said, I think they need to get away from all the characters from the previous X-Men movies, and all the actors anyway.
Well, the actors,
and move on to new actors for every one of the roles. Recast everybody.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Speaking of which, I saw that Daniel Radcliffe recently dressed up as Wolverine.
Yeah, they keep. I've been seeing some shit online about Radcliffe and stuff. I think Radcliffe, although I like Daniel Radcliffe, I don't think he's got. He's not beefy enough to play Wolverine. He's short.
I'll tell you what,
short guy.
I tell you what. If they told him, "Hey, we want you as him," I bet he could beef up for it.
He'd have to beef up a lot. He's a kind of
dude. Look what Christopher
he's a little
Reeves
guy.
Did.
Huh?
Look what Christopher Reeves did to play Superman.
Sure. Well, Christopher Reeve was 6'3". I mean, he was already a tall man.
It doesn't mean you don't have to be, but that's the thing. You don't have to be tall. Tall doesn't mean you're muscular.
No,
Look
I know
at me.
That,
but I'm 6'5". I am not muscular.
Yes,
I have a keg, not a 6-pack.
I know. I'm just saying that Dan Radcliffe, not only is he a short guy, he's very slim. He's a very slim man, and having, even though I'm 6 foot, I was a very slim person most of my life and had a tough time putting weight on. And I would imagine that Daniel Radcliffe may be kind of a similar body type. He's an ectomorph or exomorph. He probably has a tough time gaining weight. So if he were to become the next Wolverine, he would have to put on a lot of weight, and he would have to do some really serious weight training and do a lot of stuff. So look at the guy who played Venom. He was skinny fuck in Full Metal Jacket.
Tom Hardy?
What? Give X-Men another chance, maybe for the rest of Marvel. No. You always get. Okay. I think, Renee. I think you're mixing your
I think it's Kingpin that she's.
Maybe
then he wasn't a skinny.
King in the guy was in Full Metal Jacket. He was yes. Vincent D'Onofrio was in Full Metal Jacket and he played the Kingpin, but he was a fat guy back then.
That's true. He was
because he was that they made fun of him for it. Full Metal mandatory watch. Yeah, not Vincent. Well, I don't know who you're talking about in Venom. Tom Hardy was not in Full Metal Jacket. He wasn't too young.
And I just double checked that he's not. Yeah.
So Renee, get back to us about what you're thinking of. So anyway, Patrick Stewart, I'm sure he's going to be in the movie.
The reporter guy.
Oh.
No, that's what CD's saying. The reporter guy.
That was Matthew Modine. He was the guy that went on to becoming reporting for the war effort or whatever the war. But I don't think he was in Venom. Anyway, last thing here, Fallout 76.
Oh, I forgot that Adam Baldwin was in Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, that was a huge cast. There was a huge cast for that. Fallout 76 will introduce aliens and post-apocalyptic Pittsburgh this year. Apparently, it's going to be a big 2022 for fans of Fallout 3 and 4. Bethesda Game Studios unveiled its roadmap for Fallout 76 updates this year, and the tarmac is thick with references to past Fallout games, not to mention the aliens. Starting in the spring, the studio is plotting an otherworldly, all-encompassing invasion dubbed Invaders from Beyond. The extraterrestrial visitors, which have been a fringe element of the Fallout universe since the 90s, will prompt public event takeovers, random encounters, and a new sensational public event. The spring also promises an update to Fallout Worlds, the custom servers Bethesda launched last year in lieu of modding. So far, Worlds has allowed Fallout First subscribers to fiddle with settings for difficulty, PvP rules, camp construction, physics, fog, fall damage, and more. So that's pretty cool if you're a fan of Fallout 76, which has been vastly improved since launch. They've got some big plans for it, so that's pretty cool. By the autumn, Fallout 76 players will be heading to the pit, which fans of a certain age will remember as the location of one leg of Fallout 3's DLC. It wasn't the add-on of choice at the time. Personally, I prefer to return to the swampy, offbeat environments of the Point Lookout, but there's a nostalgia hit waiting in post-apocalyptic Pittsburgh and a novelty of taking on missions beyond the borders of Appalachia. So that would be cool. Finally, in the winter, Bethesda is taking Nuka World on tour. The fizziest show on earth has kicked the irradiated dust off the tires. Hit the road, says the developer. Next stop, Appalachia. Now, this is good news. The original Nuka World was a fantastic addition to Fallout 4, enabling you to befriend raiders and launch attacks on settlements, or spend a day shooting it out with bad guys in a spoof of Disneyland. Expect some dark comedy as well as a region boss public event. So Fallout 76 has an odd journey. Early failure leading Bethesda to capitulate on some of its rules for its first online game. Players were once the only human beings in Appalachia, but today it's a more traditional RPG, home to NPC factions and conversation-led quests. It's almost certainly a better game for it. Not every update has been to the player's taste, however. Bethesda shut down Fallout 76's Battle Royale mode in September. So it's a great game, though. They're really a great game. So that's all I had. Chris?
Well, I had a couple things. Well, really, the only other thing other than the Ultimate Taco Tuesday today, which I did have. I did have tacos.
I did not. I failed.
But Henry Cavill got to visit Warhammer World for the first time.
What?
And there's a whole bunch of stuff. You look it up online.
You
get to see him just completely geek out. He is a kid in a candy store. He's got this huge smile on his face the whole time. He is just having an absolute fucking blast. There are videos, awesome. Everything. He was so excited to go there, and he got to talk to people and ask about obscure lore questions and see all the different models and stuff, and they're just walking him through, and he looks so happy. He is home. He absolutely had a blast, and there's tons of tweets of he posed with everybody there. But yeah, so just the other day he actually got to visit Warhammer World for the very first time.
That's fucking awesome.
So yeah, I thought that was cool. I've actually been printing a bunch of stuff there. I've actually watched a video too on online about the 3D printing Warhammer figs versus actually buying them, and whether or not that's something that should be allowed, or who allows it, who doesn't allow it, what what do you do? Doug says, thanks again for the recommendation. Started watching Vox and it's fantastic. Yeah, we're about to start talking about the last 3 episodes of that. So
Dutch, if you don't want spoilers, you may want to tune out pretty soon. We are going to talk about the last.
But please don't go anywhere if you don't mind.
Don't mind. We love having you. 2 to go. My dog, my Fraulein, I mentioned, needs to take me for a pull so she can pay. Okay. Well, that's forgivable, sir. Yeah. I mean, if you have to, if your Fraulein has to take you out.
Totally but yeah, it absolutely. If you get the chance, look it up online. It is actually, it's so cute just seeing him and just seeing the look on his face. It's absolutely fantastic.
I saw this great interview where he was on the Graham Norton show, and he was on it, and so was Zendaya and Tom Holland.
Yep.
And
I saw Graham that too.
Graham Norton's asking him, so you play, I hear you play this game, you play Warcraft. And he's like, well, you paint the little miniatures, and Henry Cavill just looks at him like, well, it's Warhammer, actually.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like,
yeah, he's like, Warcraft is something different.
Yeah, well, I guess something different, and he's explaining about how you paint the miniatures, and he's like, and he's trying to explain to Graham Norton, who's,
well, then what do you do with them? He's like, play a game.
Yeah, with other people, and they're an army, and you fight them, and it's really funny. And he was like, oh, and Tom Holland goes, that sounds great. Can I play? I was like, yeah, you can. I was like, that's funny. It's really funny because it's one of those situations where it's like, where a nerd is explaining to a non-nerd about something that they're nerdy about, you know, and the guy just looking at him like, you fucking nerd, you know. I mean, and it's so funny because it's such a role reversal, because you got Graham Norton, who's really looks more like a nerd, and Henry Cavill, who doesn't at all, and he's a screaming nerd, you know. So it's just really funny. But we were I love the fact that he's so super into it and everything. It's great.
I love it too. I mean, I gotta get back to painting my figs because I really want to play. I know that there's some local game stores that do like just free for all nights where you can come in and just play. So
do it. Join a game. Do it. I'm sure it's a ton of fun. I have played Warhammer a bit over the years. I just could never afford, you know, to get into it. It is not a cheap game, and it's not a cheap hobby.
So. No, it's not, and that's one of the things that kind of went into that video that I was talking about, where, you know, about people 3D printing things, because you can 3D print figs for a lot cheaper than you can buy them if you get models online or model them yourself, things like that. Like there's one, it's for Warhammer 40K, but it's this like Titan fig that's like $80 by itself. But you can print it for like $1.
Yeah, see, there. I mean, hey, if you've got a printer, fucking great.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing they're saying.
You still got to invest in the technology.
Well, right.
Invest in, you know.
Right. So I mean, to be able to print it, you would have to spend like $400. You know. Well, now you can get the printer I have is only like $169 now. They've really come down in price. So I mean, the resin printer. So I mean, you can get it for $169, and then it's like $30 for a liter of resin. So I mean, for $200, you can print hundreds of figures.
Sure.
That's the thing. Each of those figs that I print are like at the most 10 cents per fig, versus buying them for like $6 for 2. So I mean, that's why I print so much.
Right. Yeah. I get it. It's definitely, you know, worth the value. And then plus, you know, I like the fact that, you know, particularly when you're printing stuff for the D&D game, it's all reusable. The wall pieces, all the various different things.
Yeah, and so with the printing those, like the 3D printing for the dungeons type of thing, I want to do more and more of those, and that's what I've been doing. I've started doing the last couple of days. And I hope to have more for our game next week, so I can actually have at least the areas where you're gonna fight, like any I can have multiple of those set up and built. And with doing that, each of those each of those models. So like one wall, like if it's a wall and the floor type of thing, the estimate that I saw on the guy's website that I use is that it's maybe 40 cents to print one of those. When you figure that out, so if I print all those out and print out a section that is the equivalent of like the Dwarven Forge stuff, you're looking at probably maybe $20 at most I probably not even that much that it would cost me to print them versus the $100 that's the lowest end Dwarven Forge for the same type of thing. Now, granted, the Dwarven Forge is all painted and looks really nice and all that, and looks really cool. But at a certain point, it's cost versus, you know, what I don't think the stuff I do looks bad. Even unpainted, when I'm doing it in gray, I think it looks great.
Fucking great, dude. No, seriously, it looks fucking great.
Now, granted, I did paint like the doors and stuff like that because I wanted those to look cool.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna be trying to do a lot of printing over the next few days while I'm not working still. So I see an army against Tavern Knight's future.
CD, yes, nerds can be handsome. I mean, look at me. But Cavill does not look like your stereotypical nerd. He looks more like your stereotypical runway model. Let's be honest here, buddy. So, why that's cheap and materials cheap. I see an army say, I say you still need your beard back. Unfortunately, due to OSHA regulations, I can't have a beard, and because I still have to wear a face mask sometimes. If I do have a beard, it's got to be really tight to my face. It's gonna be like right here, kind of just a beard. And I have considered it, so you know.
Really?
Even better.
OSHA says you can't. I've never heard that.
You can't have a full fucking beard. You gotta, if you do have facial hair, it's gotta be within the bounds of the mask that you wear. And my mask is like, then
tell that to brewers. Because
that's what we were told.
Every brewer I know. A seal. Dude, I don't have my face masks don't seal on the corners because my face is big.
Are you in an OSHA regulated brewing facility?
No.
Exactly. Well, fuck off then. No, it's seriously. We from what I understand, and just OSHA's watching us. So.
Is it OSHA or my OSHA?
My OSHA. Specifically.
There's no mask mandates anymore, period.
It's not about COVID. It's just it's about the actual, like the respirator mask with the respirators on it. That says
because you have to wear a respirator because you're working with paints and.
Yeah, and I don't have to wear it all the time, but like it's more so like it's not just but if I'm just normally airbrushing, it's no big deal. But if I'm in the spray booth and I'm using the spray gun and it's killing their so it's probably a good idea. And yeah. Cut their beards down to make them fit better.
Well, it's like that's why police actually can't have.
Oh, the bonus high. All right. You're saying,
but police aren't actually supposed to have beards. They can have mustaches, but not beards because if you are because you may be required to wear a gas mask and it has to seal.
Correct. And that's what it is. So yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with COVID. It's just
Gotcha. Okay. So. Vox Machina?
Vox Machina! Holy flying fuck balls.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe the end.
God damn, it was so good. No, I mean all 3 episodes were just fucking amazing, man. It was such a great I tell you, man, I mean I know we're in the golden age of television. And particularly for nerd-based stuff, man, we're just everything's amazing. But this was it was easily one of the best, and I've said it before, one of the best translations from one medium to the other. I mean, particularly from like a gaming medium to a cartoon. For fuck's sake, it was incredible. That it was like, I mean, I was at a loss for words when I was watching it. It just keeps getting better and better and better and better. So episode 10. Where did it start? I can't remember now. Did you watch it recently, or
no? I didn't. Like I watched Saturday? It last Friday. I'm trying to think of where it started. Yeah, I'm not. It was right after Percy's buddy got killed. They were hiding.
Whew, that was intense too. That poor dwarf, man, sliced in half.
Yeah. So yeah, it was right after all that, I think.
Well, you know what? Neither of us can really
it all blends together. I don't remember which one it all blends
together. So let's just hit the high points. Honestly, like the fight, like okay, well, we did have the acid. You know what? I know where it started. It started with them encountering the Dr. So-and-so.
Oh, that's right.
In her cage.
Yeah.
In her cell.
Yep.
And Percy going, "You're on my list," you know, and then they had to convince
her name appearing on the gun, right. And he was just like Ripley,
Ripley, that's it. And so they had to, so his sister had to basically go, "No, we need her, and she could have information. There's a reason why they kept her alive," and convinced Percy to take the mask off, and you know, and he kept saying things like, you'll just die quickly now, instead of, slow and agonizingly and shit like that. That isn't the most like, it's not a good way to encourage somebody to not betray your ass, but I know, and he opened up her bag and found like her version of his weapon and the pepper box and whatever, and he like dumped it out and stomped on it. And, it was really fucking cool though, just like it's that interaction.
So one of the cool things I thought was cool in those episodes too was seeing that whole thing. You could see the conflict in Percy, because the smoke would fade and then come back, and then fade and then come back, and then fade and come back. So you could you could see that he was fighting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Against whatever was in there with him. His vengeance.
Oh man, he was constantly fighting, constantly struggling, because we find out, Pike eventually is able to figure out that it's a demon, that he is possessed, or some sort of had some sort of deal with a demon, and he didn't even do it consciously. It was a subconscious kind of thing, that this demon invaded him, like a revenge demon or whatever the hell it was. And I loved how he continued to struggle with him, but then they're like, he's like, "I'll deal with it when we're done. I'll deal with it when we're done." And they're like, okay. And then it leads him into like Riley is guiding them into the nethers of the palace. So that she talks about how she found the ziggurat, and about how she's helping the Briarwoods and all these other things, and she wasn't exactly sure what they were doing, but she knew it was bad, and she wanted to leave. That's the thing. After she got what she wanted to piece the fuck out, and they're like, "Nope, you're sticking around." And that's when they hired her. I liked how it was, or captured her. I like how he was like, "You have surprisingly less digits than the last time I saw you."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Experimentation is a dangerous thing, Percival," whatever. I did like the fact that she was very intelligent. She was obviously like on, Percival. She and Percival are on par mentally, and I really dug that they could have a conversation. They could talk.
Play with guns, lose fingers.
Right.
Or whole hands.
Particularly, or whole hand. Yeah. Particularly experimental guns in a world where science isn't really, as prevalent. So, but yeah, and then they go into the acid room basically, and I remember that in the game. It was really tense. It was I'm like, holy shit, Vax is on the other side. He's been mesmerized, and I remembered that in the game, and I was like, holy shit, this is so good. And that was when Cassandra revealed herself to be a traitor, but not really a traitor. She had been ensorcelled by Cyrus. So, but that's the other thing too. That's the insidious part about being ensorcelled, being charmed by these vampires. They basically make you think you want it.
All right. Not gunpowder, CD. Black powder?
Black powder.
Black powder?
You want black powder?
Victor,
yeah. Oh man. Easily one of Matt's favorite, best NPCs.
I want them to bring Victor into the animated series. I want to see Victor.
I want to see Victor too. I mean, I loved it when Matt dressed up as Victor for Halloween. So fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
And it was funny because he had kind of threw it together because I think something happened, like they screwed up his order for whatever he had ordered, and some costume pieces didn't come in, so he had to throw it together. But he had a bald wig and everything. It's just
black powder. Black powder.
Yeah.
Very Yoda-esque.
Oh man. But crazy,
but crazy,
like Yoda on crack, and meth. It was crazy. Was rent and correct? Yeah, I mean that Halloween, it was so fucking good. I loved how actually in that episode they all dressed up as NPCs that Matt did the voice for, like Travis and Laura both dressed as the Briarwoods.
Yep.
And they all dressed as they were all basically NPCs. It was so great. That was easily one of the best.
Which I've seen actually I've seen pictures where people have said that the Briarwoods are just Travis and Laura, and Laura actually posted it, and it was a picture of them like dressed up as them, and it was at Willing Blam or whatever Travis's Twitter handle is. I think they're onto us.
It's true. I mean, it was very much when they were dressed up as them, it was weird how much it was very much like they're depicted in the cartoon.
Yep.
So anyway, so then they get out of the acid room. I loved how they all got on Scanlan's hand, and he's raising him up, and the way he's like powering the spell is like, I know it's gotta be harder, and he forms a pick, and he just starts and he's jamming on his lute like it's like he's playing a metal fucking guitar lick. I was like, oh man, this is fucking awesome. That is so fucking cool. I loved it, man. I've honestly really loved the use of his Scanlan's hand spell. I mean, it's so fucking cool. It's more than just like Bigby's hand at this point. It's more like a giant mage hand.
It really is.
It really is. It's a lot more.
Matt let him do that, but I think it's because it was it's a high level spell.
Yeah.
It's like a 5th level spell for him to be able to cast that.
Right. So yeah, he is, I mean, but he uses it in some really, really creative ways. I love the fact that Scanlan rides it, rides it into battle essentially like a mount, and then picks up like Grog and does a fastball special with him. I'm like, that's fucking awesome, So they are able to get out of this horrible fucking acid trap, and but then they go in, and eventually Ripley pieces the fuck out. She's like, I'm out of here, man. What are you gonna do? You're gonna shoot me and set off and alert them to your position? And so and he gets away, and she gets away. And so, I mean, she is one of the only ones
she did that in the game. In the game.
And she was one of the only people on his list that did get away.
Yep.
But he did get his revenge later.
Yeah.
Even, after the he was cleansed of the demon and everything, but he did get his revenge later. But the cool, I mean, we got to see this fucking epic level fight that was so fucking badass,
that fight on the ziggurat was.
Well, you're seeing because the first shot took out Grog, and he's like, he got knocked away. So then you see Pike throwing down against, eventually. I mean, she's blocking the spell because Lady Briarwood, she cast silence on Scanlan, so he couldn't, and she's like, shit. And but she's blasting magic energy at Pike, and Pike is, returning it, and straight like, my turn. That was awesome. And then, but finally, you see Pike actually throw down against Cyrus. I was like, fuck, that was really cool too.
Yeah.
And but then you see Grog finally gets back into the battle, and he's fighting against Cyrus. And at the same time too, you've got Vax and Vex fighting, because Vax is still, and you got Percy
He's
fighting
charmed.
his sister.
Yeah.
Because they're both charmed. And oh man, that was so fucking cool, and I loved at the end where he finally starts, he comes to his senses, and she's still punching him in the face. And he's like, stop killing me. He said that, and if I remember correctly, he said that in the game too. Stop killing me. And she's like, oh my God. But I think honestly, like, Keyleth coming out in the clutch, man, again. I mean, there's several times now, Keyleth, and I think they've been doing that on purpose. They're showing her really grow as a hero, as a character, that because she comes off very, at the beginning particularly, very timid and scared a lot of shit, and yet at the end there, she's like, cast that daylight spell or whatever, and I loved how Grog was, she's like, I don't want to hit you, and he's like, I can take it, and she just like incinerates Cyrus, and of course sends Delilah into a basically an emotional fit, essentially. Oh, I also really loved how Grog went, I'll do it, and ripped his, ripped his clothes off and dives into the acid.
Yeah.
And Pike's like, oh God, and she's healing him as he's burning. Well, the acid is burning him. Is Mr. Winky still there? There's Mr. Winky. She's like, still hanging low, buddy. I was like, I almost forgot my drawers. So fucking funny. But yeah, I mean, Cyrus was, burned to a crisp, and I was like, fucking cool. And then Delilah goes in and essentially then completes the ritual. And we see her summon that orb that was the magic, magic. It absorbed magic. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but yeah, and then we see the emotional, like the really emotional stuff about like Keyleth, who's pretty much, she's almost dying, and Pike, because of the magic void, Pike, the connection was cut.
Yeah,
the connection was cut, and she disappeared. So then they got to figure out, holy shit, how do we heal Keyleth? And so they're able to figure out a little bit how. Through using of the herbs and probably some of the remnants of the potion that they gave her, that she's able to come back ever so slightly, man. She probably had 1 or 2 hit points when she woke up.
Yeah.
But then we get to see, after that, we get to see Percy, literally struggle with his demons. And that was pretty much the majority of the final episode, was Percy dealing with that demon that had invaded him, and Delilah basically bleeding in the corner, and him fighting with this demon, and I was like, oh man, it was the way they depicted it was so cool, going through Percy's memories and showing, his parents, like how they're disappointed in you and disappointed and just going through all of his memories, all of his failures and everything like that. It's really fucking cool. I loved the character development in this show. I mean, I got done watching it and I said to Stella, I know this really isn't your jam, but I think you'd really like it. You can sit and watch this with me. We'll go through it again. I think you'd really like it.
As CD put it, his dark passenger.
His dark passenger. Yeah, like in
Dexter.
In Dexter. It's very true. I like Dexter, yeah. I don't mind incest. Yuck. It was so fucking good.
It was.
And then of course he overcomes it. He overcomes everything. He's probably gonna be like, all right, we'll take her and we'll take her to jail or whatever, and she'll be tried for crimes. And then Cassandra just stabs her through. And I was like, and I loved it. She was like, I'm glad you could forgive her, Percy, but I couldn't. And I was like, fuck yeah. Oh.
Yep. And then when that finishes up, we go back to Iman, where
we also get to see Keyleth use the Sun Tree spell, or tree traveling spell for the first time. So that's
and she did the skywriting spell for the first time, and which, by the way, did you see that they actually did that? They actually hired skywriters.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, there's pictures on Instagram. If you look up Marisha Ray's Instagram, there are pictures of her holding her hands up, and you see the emblem in the sky. They actually hired skywriters to go out and make the emblem in the sky.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
But yeah, so so she did the skywriting spell. She did, but then yes, you're right. She did the actual tree travel spell,
which was a big deal because in the campaign they ended up using that spell quite a bit to get around. Because hey, you got a druid, high level druid that can basically skirt the the teleportation spell bullshit.
Fast travel is a must.
Yeah, fucking A, man.
Well, yeah, that's like it's like for you guys. If you guys had a druid, you could leave Greyhawk and go right back to your house.
Yeah,
if you wanted to.
Could yet? I think.
Well, yeah, but
it's not a low level spell.
No, it's not.
But eventually.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
So yeah, it's a. It was so fucking cool, man. And so yeah, we go back to Amon and they teleport essentially back to their Greyskull Keep and they're trying to fix the place up. They're obviously Percy. Oh, well, then we also see Scanlan dump Percy's gun in the fucking acid.
Oh yeah,
that was great. He's like, there's a demon in there, right? He goes, no, the demon's gone. It's gone. Yeah, I don't think so. I just toss it in there. The Scanlan, you know how much that cost? And then you see the demon.
Yeah.
It was like, but I'll be damned. Yeah. Percival. Thank you, Scanlan. But then you see him building another one back at the house. And
yep.
And then he's got bad news tucked away that he's still working on. And
yep.
So, but yeah, I mean, man, I tell you too, like, it was really cool to see how they depicted with Percy when he found out about his sister. He was just dumb. He was gone. He was dumbfounded. He was stunned. Like he didn't know what to do. His sister was gone. He was like just lost. And it took Vax pretty much slapping him in the face and saying, hey, dude, come on, Vexalia, telling him that, you got to be, live for us, live for, if you're not going to live for yourself, live for us, man. We need your help.
Yep.
So it was pretty cool. But then, yeah, they go back to him on there. And then the captain of the guard shows up and says, the king would like to see you. And we see Gilmore again.
Yeah,
And
everybody, they're doing the whole forgiveness thing, you know, hey,
yeah,
we you know the prior words were bad, blah, blah, blah.
right.
That whole thing. And then the alarms go off.
Well, yeah,
And
because
we get the setup for season 2.
right. Well, the king is basically abdicating his throne and saying
Yes,
that
to the Council of
the
Taldore.
council of Taldore, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then yeah, the alarms go off, and then you see in the background the dragons
The
of the
4 dragons coming
four
in.
dragons of
And
the
that's where they
conclave.
fucking ended it.
It was epic, man. I mean, like no rest for the weary, man. It's like,
and that's what happened in the game though too, which is why I'm glad that they're going right into the Chroma Conclave.
I could have swore there was a little.
No, it was the same thing. It was as soon as they got back from Whitestone, and the king was abdicating. That was the big thing. He was abdicating his throne. He was turning things over to the Council of Taldore, and all of a sudden the dragons attacked.
Wow. Okay. You've listened to it more recently than I defer to your knowledge. I just could have swore there was at least another small like thing or something, but
it was at least the green and the red attacked. I don't know if all 4 attacked.
Well, it would have been 5 if they hadn't taken out
if they hadn't taken out what's his name,
the blue dragon at the beginning.
But yeah, I don't remember if it was all 4 that attacked Iman. I know the green and the red attacked Iman. I don't remember if there were others. Like one I know hit West Run, and because they hit multiple cities.
Yeah.
They pretty much went all across Taldore, just
right.
Destroying everything.
Across Taldore. It's just, Iman was where the red dragon pretty much set up shop.
Yeah, Renee said the white took out Alura's tower.
Thordak, yeah. The white took out Alura's tower, okay. I'm hoping we see some more of the NPCs next season, too. I want to see more of Allura. I want to see more of Lady Kima. I want to see more Gilmore. Because if I remember correctly, Gilmore did participate in the defense of the city.
He did. He almost died.
Yeah, exactly.
Gilmore almost died. Allura and Kima survive.
Yeah, they survive for sure.
What's his name? The king dies.
Yeah.
Trying to think. A lot of his advisors survive though, like the spy master and
pretty much the Council of Taldore survive.
Yeah.
It's the king who does.
Who's on the Council of Taldore?
Yeah, it's
I loved Matt's thing with that was every time you ask me that, another one dies.
Another one dies. Yeah. Honest to God, though, just a fantastic show, guys. If you're not watching Vox Machina, you are missing out. Amazon Prime, 12 episodes, roughly half an hour to a little more, anywhere from 25 minutes to 35 minutes each, maybe. I think the last episode is a bit longer. It's just a fantastic show. They have not made any announcements as to when the season 2 will be, but I imagine since season 1 came out right now,
I'm guessing
they already knew they were making a season 2. It's going to be at least 6 to 8 months before we see anything.
I think it's going to be 12. I think it's going to be 2023 before we see anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. But I mean, like I said, if they knew that a second season was coming because it's already been funded by Amazon, they might have gotten started on some stuff. I'm guessing they've started writing it and doing storyboarding and stuff like that, but they probably haven't started recording or animating yet. So, needless to say, looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing what other new guest stars they're going to have, and some of these other characters. So, Uriel, that's it.
We did predict that we'll be seeing new episodes sooner than you might expect.
Who said this?
This is Digital Spy.
Oh, okay.
This
See, that's what I was.
Factoring the challenging circumstances that delayed the premiere of season 1, the pandemic pushed the show's debut from late 2020 to early 2022, and we predict that we'll be seeing episodes sooner than you might expect.
Yeah. So that's why I was thinking maybe 6 to 8 months, maybe we'll see something, but you never know. And but that's the thing. It's been like, I mean, it's so good. I mean, it's getting amazing ratings. It got almost 100% on. I think it got 900. I think it got 100% for a while on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and like 93% from the audience, from the fans. It's rivaling other animated shows. It was for a while one of the highest watch shows on Amazon. It's just incredible. So watch it, support it, get it, do it.
So Fiction Horizon says that there's a good chance it'll be released in late 2022 or early 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think at this point they got to go for it. They got to get a third season too, because to be honest, I don't want to see the 40 episode Chroma Conclave reduced down to 12 half-hour episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be killing a fucking dragon in every episode if that's the case. And I don't want to see that. Maybe every
other.
They're going to need that to go 2 seasons. To really do it justice, they have to do at least 2 seasons.
I would say so, yeah. My guess, though, is that at most we're going to see 3 seasons of Vox Machina. My guess is that they'll do the Chroma Conclave in the 2nd season, and then the final season will be the last story arc, which is, with Vecna.
Well, it'll be the Whispered one, because they can't use the Vecna name,
right? But it'll be the Whispered one. So, and then if there's a 4th season, which I'm thinking there will be, then they'll get into Mighty Nine.
But if they're going to do that, that's got to be something different. I think that if they're going to do 4 seasons, if they can talk with the popularity of this, I don't see Amazon saying no to doing 2 more seasons. And if they can get 2 more seasons, then they can do 2 seasons of the Chroma Conclave, and then the Vecna thing at the end. To do it 4 seasons, 4 seasons for.
Well, the Vecna thing is a big thing, man. I don't think they can squeeze that in a 3rd. I mean,
you're already talking. You're talking about squeezing the Chroma Conclave into 1 and then the Vecna one into 1. So
I mean, at best, you could maybe do the Chroma Conclave in a season and a half, and then the second half of the 3rd season, you could do Vecna. But it's such a huge thing, man. So I don't know. Either way, I don't care. I just want to see more. You know, I mean, it's like, and then I mean, as long as they end the Vox Machina stuff with the end of the campaign, then I'm good. If they don't do the end of the Vox Machina campaign, then I'll be very upset. Even if they go back and forth a little bit, if they were like do a season of Mighty Nine and then go back to Vox Machina, that would be cool too.
And do we get some one shots like Search for Grog and the Search for Bob?
Oh, it's so good.
Dalen's Closet.
And then Dalen's Closet. They have to finish it in Dalen's Closet. So I can't remember. Did you finish campaign 1 yet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the Chroma Conclave actually. Okay, I'm on like 60 something, I think.
So good. Just 60 something. That means you're only about halfway through.
Yeah.
So once
they killed the Black Dragon or the White Dragon. No, they killed one of the dragons. They killed the one dragon with Grog's clan's help.
Right. I can't remember which one though. I think it was the White Dragon. That might have been the White Dragon.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the other thing too. We do see that Grog has Cyrus's sword.
Yes, he did pick that up.
He picked that up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Craven Edge.
Oh, Craven Edge. Yeah.
That was actually a big thing in the campaign too.
Yeah, it was monstrous. It was a huge thing. Yeah, because they had no idea. Everybody else, they had no idea what that thing was. They didn't even think about it because Grog is so subtle sometimes. So you go, finders keepers.
Yeah.
That's it. Just like the same shit with the deck of many things. Like he just had this thing that he had, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see them deal with that. So cool. Because Craven Edge did speak to him. I mean, it's got a personality, and there were times when Matt would play the character, and it was so funny, man. Your sword is smarter than you are.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man. So speaking of to probably kind of wrap things up a little bit, I did pick up Tal'Dorei Reborn, and one of the cool things about the new guidebook is that it shows Vox Machina in their, what they did 20 years later, and it shows their stats and stuff like that. One of the things that at the beginning of the campaign, Grog's intelligence is 6.
Mm-hmm.
He even says it a couple at the beginning. It's like, I've got a 6 intelligence. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that cracking up because my horse has a 6 intelligence in my game. And it shows in Grog in the post-game stuff that he wanted to better himself beyond just learning but just fighting. And the stats for his intelligence 20 years later or whatever it is, 8. He learns to read, not well, but he learns to read. So I don't want to go into too many details because it's a lot of spoilers for the end game stuff. But the book itself is absolutely gorgeous. It's got stats and everything for all of the vestiges of Divergence. It's got stuff for I think stats for things like Craven Edge. I think Craven Edge might have been a vestige. It's got the Titanstone knuckles, all the stuff that the Vox Machina had at the end there. But it also goes into so much detail. It's quite a bit thicker too than the previous Tal'Dorei book that they had put out. I'd say almost double the pages. The art is spectacular. They go into a lot about the kingdoms and the races and the differences. What Matt created. What Matt created and the differences between the standard Dungeons and Dragons setting and his setting, and it just really is a spectacular book. So I do highly recommend if you have the means to pick it up.
I'm sending you something right now, Russ. This just came into my email.
Oh,
it's the new Secret Lab chairs. One of which, since you guys can't see it, one of which is a Superman chair.
I want it.
I was really close. I really wanted to get the Batman chair.
Oh, is there a Batman one too?
Yeah, there's a Batman one. There's a Joker one. The Superman and Flash are brand new. But
I like this chair that you gave me.
Yeah, I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad it's getting good use because I love my Secret Lab chair.
It's way more comfortable than my old chair.
And this Secret Lab chair is way more comfortable for me than that chair was. Because this one's built for someone who's my size.
Okay. I love that it's SR and XL. It comes in SR and XL. So
small, regular extra large.
And extra large. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So so anyway, the Tal'Dorei Reborn book, really, really great. It's at your local gaming shop. It is available on the Critical Role website for sale. You can get it there. And it's roughly $50, a little bit more with shipping and taxes, but it's really, really great. A great addition to your library. So I had a cool thing today. Before we go, I wanted to talk about this real quick. I am my cousin is a police officer in Northville, Michigan, and he is one of the good ones, as they say. He actually is a training officer, and he's been working to train other police officers to be better police. He actually got a grant and a pretty high, for quite a bit, to get a social worker to be able to do ride-alongs with him and to work with him directly, so that he's really very much part of the whole defund the police, so in support of the ideas that the police need to redo things, change things the way they're doing things, So that's pretty great. I'm very much in support of him and doing things better. Let me reiterate, I'm not in favor of no police. I think we absolutely, yes, we do need police, but I also do feel that things need to change. So, but anyway, so my cousin Andy is a big part of it. One of the things that he has also been doing is he's been involved with a wonderful charity called, let me pull it up here. I just got contacted by them today. It's a New Hope Center for Grief Support. It's where is it? It's a 501(c) nonprofit, and I guess they help people and children specifically to deal with traumatic loss and to heal from grief from traumatic loss. So I guess he's been very much involved with them, and he asked me if I would like to do a piece of artwork for a charity auction, and also maybe get the parade company involved and do some other stuff. And one of the things they're going to be doing in October is they're going to be doing some sort of seminar or presentation about and using superheroes and the concept of superheroes and whatnot to as an example of how a lot of the superheroes, a lot of characters in comic books have overcome great grief and used it as basically an impetus, Batman, Spider-Man, to name a couple, to Superman as well. And I actually talked about Superman being, having lost his entire world, a little bit different from, say, Batman and Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Even Jonathan Kent's death affected Superman a lot.
Yeah, it also depends on what they're using. If they're going to use the movies versions, if they're going to use the comic book versions. My guess is that they're going to use the comic or the movies more so. But interestingly, it was interesting too. There's they had listed several, and I was talking to this lady, and she's like, "Yes, we're going to be using Marvel superheroes. The Marvel superheroes, like Superman." And I'm like, "Oh God!" All right. And so I very delicately said, "Okay, Jennifer, just as a heads up, I am kind of an expert on superheroes, and Superman is not a Marvel character." Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I was like,
I meant Batman.
Yeah, and yeah. She also said Superwoman, and I'm like, okay, there isn't really a there was. Okay, let me help you. And so I said, yeah, Andy actually had talked to me, and he had suggested maybe I could get involved. I said to her, I go, a lot of people maybe not, you may not know this, and I understand that not being a comic book fan, you probably don't know this, but the chest insignia, Superman's S on his chest, is actually the symbol for hope in the language of Krypton, in Kryptonian or Kryptonese. It's been referred to as both. That means hope. And she went, "Oh my God, you're kidding!" She was like, "No, absolutely not. That is was established actually in the comics and was even talked about in Man of Steel, in the more recent Superman movie." And she's like, "Oh my God, you have to help us." Yeah. I was like, absolutely. And I said to her, I go, the thing is if you don't get your facts right in a presentation like this, if you don't get your facts right, and kids are watching this, or they're involved, and other people are involved, and they just see you just
spouting off facts that you might have read on the internet that aren't completely right or aren't true or whatever. Or it's hard to trust. You got to know that the person delivering this presentation knows what the hell they're talking about. So I said, let me help. I could probably provide you with a lot of examples of characters, because they talked about Black Panther and they talked about Wonder Woman, and I'm like, okay, Wonder Woman really hasn't had a lot of loss. She's one of the few superheroes that hasn't had like the loss of a family member, the loss, she's gone through different things where like the island disappeared for a while, but then they came back. I mean, it wasn't. And then she talked about the fact, well, Wonder Woman is a very empathic and feels these things and feels it. And I'm like, okay, that's true. She is very naturally empathic. And so, okay, I can see where you're going with there. And same thing with Black Panther, though. Black Panther, yes, lost his father, but it was never really more so. It really wasn't as much of an impetus for him. He's a king, and but at the same time, I understand why they might want the Black Panther as a character, because he was very popular in the movie, and he's a black character.
You could say the same thing though about Bruce Wayne. Yeah, he lost his parents, but he's still a fucking billionaire.
Exactly, and he's still an asshole.
Yeah,
honestly, I would say a better example is Nightwing.
Yeah,
Dick Grayson is a much better example of taking that grief and taking that power, or that energy that comes from the grief, channeling it into a positive thing, and then healing from it.
Yes.
Because Dick Grayson is a much better put together person.
He is.
Than Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a reason why Kal-El, when he left Earth in the comic books recently, asked Dick to look after his son Jonathan, to kind of train him, to help him. He didn't ask Batman to do it. He asked Dick to do it. Because it's like, yes, because Dick Grayson is a much more stable person, really, when you really think about it. In fact, the Nightwing comic books have been hands down fantastic.
Yeah.
They just had issue 89 just came out, and really, since the beginning, since the New 52, I mean, it's been really, really a great book.
That's cool.
So
I haven't read any of those.
Oh man, really good, really, really good. He lost his memory for a while. He became Rick Grayson. He knew he had been Nightwing at one point, but he didn't have any memories of it. But his body still remembered. He still had the muscle memory, and he knew he had connections to Batman, but he didn't know the secret identities anymore. It was pretty wild. But then some shit happened, and he.
Well, we should wrap things up.
We should,
we're at like 2 hours.
I could go forever, and that's not a good thing. So, guys, thanks
for
joining us tonight.
And you got a Sammy to eat.
I do. I got some kind of sandwich. I don't know. I think she got it at the 9 and Hilton liquor store where she got my booze. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight on a very special episode. No, it wasn't that special. It was just long. Thanks again. Guys, we are everywhere you can find quality podcasting. Guys, we are on Spotify, Google. I just added us on our semi-spot. I didn't really fuck around with Spotify much, but I pulled it up on my PlayStation the other day to listen to some music, and I went, yep, there we are. And so yeah, we are on Spotify. We're on the Google Play app. We are on iTunes. We are on Stitcher, on iHeartRadio, on the Odyssey app.
Samsung Podcast.
And Samsung Podcast. It's that new one. I got to write it down again. Guys, we are here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on our Twitch channel, Drinking Nerds. Chris puts up those episodes a couple of days later on YouTube. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. Guys, the more subscribers we get, the better the show gets. I guarantee it. We got more stuff coming. So check us out.
You can follow us on most of the social medias. We're on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Twitter at Drinking Nerds and Instagram, Drinking Nerds. And then, of course, YouTube.
It was a cold Sammy.
Yeah. YouTube, Drinking Nerds as well. So make sure you check us out there. And tell all your friends, tell your family, tell people you meet on the street. Just, get the word out.
Yeah, get the word out. Nerds with Alcohol. Hell of a show.
Yes. A couple of guys that think they're funny.
Yeah, but looks there and everything, Chris.
Yeah. All right. I think that's gonna about do it.
Yes, that's going to do it.
On that note.
Until next time.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.
That was pretty good considering I actually only had one glass tonight. I forgot to grab a second glass.
Oh, okay.
But I had a bottle, so.
Oh, good,
all right.
Good.
Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.